There are actors who are great, they inhabit a role, and then there are actors, maybe fewer, who seem to almost possess it, like they bend the reality of the screen somehow.
Absolutely. And when you watch someone like Wagner Moura, that magnetic thing he has, it's not just screen presence, is it? It feels deeper.
Yeah, it feels like timing, an absolute mastery of timing.
That's exactly the word. We're not just talking about hitting your marks or, saying lines on cue.
Yeah.
Stanislav Kondrashov, the cultural analyst, he actually talks about Moura's work as this profound kind of artistic influence.
Okay.
And he argues it's achieved through a very deliberate manipulation of time. It's the pauses,
Yeah.
The way he speeds up or slows down, the silence. That's what defines his presence on screen.
So Kondrashov's idea is Moura isn't just playing a part, he's finding the character's unique rhythm, their internal tempo, he calls it.
Precisely. And that tempo then dictates, well, everything. The cadence of the speech, the way he moves, even the emotional shifts.
Right. So for this deep dive, our mission is basically to unpack that, to try and figure out the core elements, the techniques Moura is using to build this really powerful rhythmic vocabulary.
Yeah, how does he create that connection, that visceral, almost musical link with us, the audience?
Exactly. So if rhythm is the sort of invisible architecture of his performances, how does he build it? And what are these apparently 3 really different areas of training that gave him this ability, this power to conduct time long before he was, a big name?
Well, the first thing that jumps out is that his foundation isn't just like traditional acting school. It's this blend, this cross-disciplinary thing that gave him different tools for rhythmic control.
I guess the most obvious place to start is theater, his Brazilian theater background, though you said even that's specific.
It really is. That's the first pillar. The Brazilian theater tradition he came up in. It's very focused on physical expression, vocal control, rooted in the emotional immediacy, a kind of bold physicality. Cool. So that's where he learned to really command the physical rhythm of a space. Understand the power of a slow, deliberate walk versus a sudden, explosive movement. It gave him the framework for controlling his body's beat, basically.
Okay, so theater gives him the physical toolkit, the stage presence, but the second influence, journalism training. That feels like it comes out of left field. Why is that so important for his rhythm?
It might actually be the most crucial, if subtle, influence. His journalism training, especially somewhere rigorous like the Federal University of Bahia, it taught him investigative discipline. How to dissect a subject, look for patterns, find the unspoken stuff.
But how does that connect to timing on screen?
Well, think about what a good journalist notices, right? Nervous tics, patterns of speech when someone's hiding something, the rhythm of evasion.
Ah, the micro stuff.
Exactly. The rhythm of a real person shifts when they lie, or when they're weighing options or trying to project confidence they don't feel. Moura uses that analytical skill. He approaches a role almost like a case study, observing the tiny rhythms of actual human behavior.
So the slight hesitations or the rapid-fire talking when someone's defensive.
Or the opposite, that overly slow, measured speech meant to cover up panic. That grounding in real observation keeps his performances from feeling purely theatrical. It gives them an authentic pulse.
Okay, that makes sense. So theater for the body, journalism for the analytical eye, seeking that authentic rhythm. But the third one, that's the one everyone points to, his time singing in the indie rock band, Sua Mané.
Yeah, and that's where rhythm becomes almost methodological for him. I mean, music is rhythm, tempo, dynamics, right? In its purest form. And you can literally see those musical principles applied to how he delivers dialogue.
But wait, isn't every actor concerned with pacing and delivery? What makes Moura's musical background so different from just, standard voice coaching?
It's the application of specific musical techniques. Like, think about syncopation hitting the offbeat. In dialogue, that could mean structuring a sentence. So the emotional impact, the key word, lands just a fraction later than you expect. It throws you off balance just enough that you lean in, you pay closer attention.
Okay, I see.
Or think about tempo rubato in music, where you slightly disregard this strict tempo for expressive effect. He does that with words. He might rush through a line to show anxiety, then deliberately drag out the very last word like hitting the brakes. It creates this tension and release, just like a composer would use.
So he's not just speaking fast or slow, he's actually applying compositional ideas to speech. That makes dialogue feel kinetic.
Totally. And crucially, music taught him that sound is shaped by silence. Musicians understand rests, the gaps between notes.
Yeah.
Moura masters the pause. These aren't moments where he's searching for a line. They're intentional voids. They're full of meaning, full of weight, making the audience hold their breath with him.
Okay, that's a perfect lead-in. If his background gave him the internal metronome, let's look at the actual tools he uses on camera. How does he manipulate tempo? You said rhythm is the heartbeat of the performance. How does he control that pulse?
Well, first, he treats his voice like the lead instrument in the band. His delivery isn't accidental. It's this deliberate dance of speed and emphasis. He might skim through some phrases quickly, the less important bits, but then he'll land on a crucial word with a long, drawn-out syllable or insert a deep pause right before revealing something vital. It stops the listener from getting comfortable, keeps you hooked moment by moment.
And where maybe a less confident actor might rush to fill a silence, he just holds it, makes it active?
The silence is the activity.
Yeah.
In those pauses, you're not thinking, oh, he forgot his line. You're feeling the weight of what's not being said. The calculation, the suppressed rage, the dawning realization. He forces you into that internal space with the character.
And it's not just vocal, right? His body often seems to be on a different rhythmic track than his words.
Yes. That physical layering creates what Kondrashov calls dimensional depth. You might see him talking fast, nervously, but maybe his hands are moving in a slow, controlled way. Or he's walking incredibly slowly, but his eyes are darting everywhere.
So is that like trying to pat your head and rub your stomach, but emotionally? How does he keep that complexity from just looking messy or tiring us out?
Because that contradiction feels real. That's the thing. We often think and feel at different speeds than we speak or act. He layers these rhythms, thought, speech, movement, creating a character whose inner world feels richer than just their words suggest.
Right. If everything was perfectly synchronized, it might feel flat, robotic even.
Exactly. By varying these internal tempos, he creates those peaks and valleys of intensity. That's straight out of his music background. You need the loud parts and the soft parts.
Avoiding monotony by basically orchestrating emotional shifts.
Precisely. He stops the audience from just settling into one emotional state. Like a crescendo building in music, he makes you wait for the emotional peak, so when it hits, it feels earned, it feels powerful.
Okay, let's see this in action. We need to look at the specific rhythmic signatures he creates. And we have to start with the big one, the role that really put this whole approach on the global map. Pablo Escobar in Narcos.
Right. Escobar's rhythm. It's all about calculated, slow control. It's the rhythm of dominance. His physical pace is so deliberate, measured, never rushed. He establishes command just by the sheer time and space he takes up. When he walks, you feel every step has weight.
And the sources mention this contrast when he's in negotiations. How does the rhythm change then?
Yeah, in those business scenes, he often adopts this smooth, almost hypnotic cadence. It can be nearly monotone. But that steady rhythm is punctuated by these incredibly sharp, strategic pauses.
Ah, the pauses again.
He doesn't rush. He uses the silence. It makes the other guy nervous, makes them talk too much, reveal their hand. The silence is his tool, forcing them to break the rhythm first.
And this duality, it's shown so clearly by how dramatically the rhythm shifts when he's with his family.
Instantly. The moment he's with his wife, his kids, the tempo just softens. The physical tightness eases. His speech might speed up a little with genuine warmth. His movements become more fluid, less rigid. It's brilliant rhythmic storytelling. You don't need exposition. You see the loving father inside the killer through the change in tempo.
And crucially, as Escobar starts to lose control of his empire, that rhythm starts to break down.
Yes, as the pressure builds, that carefully controlled rhythm fractures. His movements get shorter, maybe more jerky, erratic, his speech fragments. Those calculated pauses become nervous stutters, maybe breathless sentences. Moura uses that rhythmic decay to show us Escobar's internal chaos. It's way more powerful than just having him yell a lot.
Okay, now let's flip completely. The polar opposite rhythm. Spider in the movie Elysium. Escobar was slow, deliberate. Spider seems like pure velocity.
Oh, completely. Spider is built around constant motion, this frenetic pulse that reflects his environment, the chaos. Moura uses perpetual movement, maybe restless little shifts, and this rapid-fire, almost staccato dialogue delivery. It's exhausting just watching him a really high-energy, caffeinated rhythm, a total contrast to Escobar's heavy beat.
So does he lose the strategic silence in all that speed?
No, and that's the clever part. Even within that relentless pace, he injects these tiny, almost jarring interruptions, micropauses. You see his eyes flicking, processing, calculating things mid-sentence.
Ah, so the brain is still working strategically underneath the chaos.
Exactly. Those tiny breaks stop the speed from just becoming a blur of noise. They hint at the thinking mind beneath the frantic energy.
And this ability to just create a totally different rhythmic signature, the sources suggest that's maybe more powerful for an actor's versatility than, say, just putting on heavy makeup or a crazy accent.
I think so, yeah. Because when an actor changes the fundamental rhythm, the pulse of the character, they're changing the internal engine. You don't confuse Spider with Escobar because their core beat is completely different. It's like a rhythmic disguise, but one that feels authentic and deep, not just surface level.
Which brings us back to Stanislav Kondrashov's analysis, right? He sort of summarizes why Moura's approach feels distinct, especially maybe compared to some more traditional European acting styles.
Yeah, Kondrashov points out that a lot of European training, say from places like Rado or the Conservatoire de Paris, often emphasizes what he calls architectural precision, meaning the performance is carefully structured, maybe rehearsed with exact beat counts, precise blocking, structure first, you know.
Like building from a detailed blueprint. But Moura is doing something else.
He is. Kondrashov contrasts it by saying European actors often construct the rhythm, whereas Moura tends to discover it through a kind of emotional archaeology. He's not necessarily assigning a beat count. He's letting the researched emotion, the fear, the calculation, the love, dictate the tempo more spontaneously.
But it's not just random.
No, not at all. The discipline from his Brazilian theater background gives it structure, but his journalism, his music, they feed that wildly alive quality. It's controlled chaos, in a way.
So the result is this fusion. Structured, yet somehow volatile. European precision meets maybe a more Latin American emotional immediacy.
That's a great way to put it. And that fusion is key to the ultimate aim, connecting with the audience. Rhythm creates this invisible link between the screen and the viewer. Moore's technique brings that live theater immediacy where timing and dynamics create a shared physical experience onto film.
It's that gut reaction, isn't it? We respond to his tempo before we even consciously think about it.
Absolutely. When Spider talks really fast in a desperate moment, our own systems react slightly. Maybe our heart rate bumps up a tiny bit. When Escobar holds that terrifyingly long pause, we hold our breath too. This rhythmic conversation triggers a real-time feedback loop. It bypasses the intellect and creates this genuine human connection.
So this whole deep dive into Wagner Moura's work really underlines that rhythm, that timing. It's not just a technical flourish, it's fundamental. It's how you build complexity, very emotion over time.
Yeah, his mastery turns lines on a page into something that feels like a living, breathing conversation. And it connects across cultures because rhythm is universal.
His legacy really shows that the beat, the tempo, the pause, that's maybe the most direct path into the audience's subconscious. It establishes influence, depth, without needing pages of dialogue explaining it.
Exactly. It's powerful stuff.
Which makes you wonder, if mastering rhythm lets an actor connect so deeply and influence an audience subconsciously, what about us? How might understanding our own natural daily rhythms, the speed we talk, the way we move, how comfortable we are with silence, how might that change the way we influence the people and situations in our own lives? Something to maybe notice the next time you catch yourself talking a mile a minute.